Bam. My peoples. My peoples. This weekend, we had some great boxing. Jermall Charlo and Caleb Plant fought on the same card. We thought that, or at least most of us, expected for Jermall and Caleb to both win their fights, but that's not how it played out. Jermall looks spectacular, looks super sharp after being inactive since 2023. Caleb Plant, on the other hand, was upset. A fight that played out in surprising manner. Though we gotta talk about it, my peoples. What's next for Jermall and Caleb? You already know what it is, man. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Center. God damn. This is Box Center. Your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. So yeah, my peoples. Jermall Charlo. Shout out to the first two in the building, yo. Hell yeah. Jermall Charlo, in my opinion, he looks spectacular. Yes, this was kind of like a tune-up fight. He didn't fight, like a world champion or anything like that. But, with so much time of inactivity, you really didn't know what you was gonna get from Mo Charlo. So for him to perform the way that he did, I was impressed. His footwork looked real good. His timing, punch placement, speed. That jab was just a deadly weapon. He kept that jab in his opponent's face consistently. And, the stoppage after the fifth round, before round number 6 started, it was something that I expected. I thought it was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to happen at that moment because it was between rounds. The doctor checked out the fighter, suggested that the fight be stopped, and the referee, went with that. He was like, yeah, stopped it. I agree 100% with the stoppage. Charlo was fighting an opponent who wasn't at his level, but a very tough guy that can take a shot, that wants to fight. His opponent wanted to keep fighting. I'm glad they stopped it because, he was just going to keep taking a lot of punishment. And it could have ended up real bad for him with the type of shots that he was taking. Another 6 rounds of that type of action, he could have ended up hurt really bad. So I'm glad that they stopped that fight. So, salute to Jermall Charlo. Did his thing, looked real good, and he's ready. He's ready to be back fighting at that highest level. And with Caleb Plant, it just didn't play out how we expected. Caleb, he started off looking real good, looking real sharp. Jab was working, kept that jab in his opponent's face. Footwork was on point, counterpunching. Caleb Plant, when the fight started, it appeared that he was on his way to controlling the pace and winning the fight. But the unexpected happened. His opponent landed a monster shot on Caleb Plant that buckled his legs. And then right after that, he landed 2 more real hard shots, a left and a right hook to Caleb's head. Boom, boom. And you see Caleb kind of stumble back a little bit. And after that moment, Plant was never able to gain his composure. He was never himself again. You saw that his punches didn't have nothing behind them. He didn't have nothing behind his punches. Footwork was not there anymore. And he just couldn't recover. It shows how bad he was hurt from those shots when he never really recovered. You could see that Caleb is a warrior. He fought back. He was trying to fight back the whole time. Made it competitive anyways. But he just couldn't do it. He just couldn't win. I was surprised that it was a split decision win. I felt like his opponent won by unanimous decision. But that's the way the judges saw it. The right man won. You know, I don't know, man. I'm an old school boxing fan. Just because you lose, I don't think that you're washed up or that you're a hype job or that you're not as good as people think you are. No, 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 no. I still think Caleb Plant is a high level fighter who can still be in there with the best of them. He lost. And I tell you what, he was the better boxer in that ring. Had Caleb Plant not been hurt with that shot, I believe he would have won on the scorecards. But I said it in that fight. I think in round number 2, I noticed it. And I said it. His opponent hits hard, and you can see that he's the harder puncher inside that ring. But Caleb Plant was the more skilled boxer, is the more skilled boxer. So I feel like, had he not been hurt the way he was, I feel like he could have won that fight. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, man. That's why anything can happen in boxing. People don't realize that once you get hurt really bad, you may not be able to recover to the point where you're the same guy who started that fight. Dry turkey, Jermall versus who next? His jab looked good, but his opponent was awful. So I understand where you're coming from, Dry turkey, because Jermall Charlo fought what we'd consider a tune-up, right? That's not a high-level opponent, not a world champion or anything like that. But we gotta give it to Jermall, my brother. He looked real sharp. Not just that jab that he had going, that he just kept in Lamala's face, but also the counter punching, the combinations. Yo, Charlo just looked real good in there. No ring rust whatsoever. He looked like he fought 4 or 5 months ago. And the guy hasn't been in the ring since 2023. So, we got to give him his credit for performing the way that he did. Didn't fight, like I said, a world champion. But, with all that time of inactivity to go back up and look like that, I think Charlo did a great job. Junior, who is fighting next on this weekend? Do you know? If I'm not mistaken, this weekend is Jay Opataya. I think Jay Opataya fights on Saturday. John Parham, salute my brother. John Parham, Charlo definitely looked amazing. Dry turkey, Keyshawn versus De Los Santos. Yeah, yes. Keyshawn Davis, Edwin De Los Santos. Ooh, I can't wait for that fight. I can't wait for that fight, my peoples. Pierre Oliver, Castaño versus Charlo was fire as a fight. Yeah, that was a fight. They went back and forth. Let's see how it plays out going forward. I think that we may still get Jermall Charlo versus Caleb Plant. Even though Plant lost, I think we may actually still get that fight. I'm still interested in it. Like I said, I'm an old school boxing fan. When a guy loses, I don't automatically go into discredit him mode. I still believe that Caleb Plant, is a top level fighter. Dry turkey, Justin Honey versus Wardley also. Yes, that's going to be an explosive fight. And I'm going to tell you right now, I foresee a knockout. I don't see that fight. Honey versus Wardley, I don't see it going the distance. Dry turkey, Abdullah is on that Shakur card. But they haven't announced, I think, his opponent. If I'm not mistaken, they haven't announced his opponent for that fight. And when it comes to Abdullah Mason, I want to see what's going to happen with Keyshawn Davis. Because once Keyshawn Davis and Edwin De Los Santos fight, I'm expecting Keyshawn Davis to win. It looks like Abdullah Mason is going to be mandated by the WBO to fight Keyshawn for that title. So, Keyshawn Davis, Abdullah Mason. Look, man, I don't think that Abdullah Mason is ready just yet. But I got to tell you, Keyshawn Davis is a special fighter. Abdullah Mason is also a special fighter. The difference between them two is that Keyshawn Davis is more seasoned, been a professional longer, faced better opponents, and obviously he's going to have the edge in experience. That could make the difference if they end up fighting each other this year. But Abdullah Mason is also a special fighter. Don't get it twisted. So I didn't feel like Abdullah's ready for that type of challenge just yet. He just turned 21 years old, literally like a couple months ago. But if he believes in himself, if his team believe in him, go for it. And let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what's going to happen. That's all I got to say. Let's see how that fight plays out. Pierre Oliver, Abdullah wants Keyshawn. What a fight this is. Who you got? Like I said, my brother, right now, I think the favorite has to be Keyshawn Davis because of the difference in experience. They're both special fighters, but there's a difference in experience, which, is going to favor Keyshawn Davis. So if they fight next, I'm going to have to go with Keyshawn Davis. But anything can happen. When you got a special fighter in the ring, Abdullah Mason is without a doubt special. So let's see it. Let's see it, man. Dry Turkey. Turkey, instead of making these so-called tuna fights, should have just made Ryan Devin rematch. Wilder versus AJ. Plant versus Small. All first. So the thing about Ryan versus Devin is that it's not 100% up to Turkey. You got to understand, Ryan Garcia is not signed to Turkey. He's signed to Golden Boy. So if Oscar De La Hoya says, look, Ryan Garcia is not going to fight Devin because, Oscar doesn't like Bill and he doesn't like Devin either. If Oscar says he's not going to fight Devin, it's a wrap. That fight's not going to happen. So it looks like Oscar De La Hoya is not interested. John Parham, but later down the line, I got Mason. See, down the line, it could be a different story. But like I said, right now, I think the difference in experience is something that'll show up if they face each other. The Soto hybrid, Keyshawn next up. Yo, Keyshawn is a special fighter. Keyshawn Davis is a special fighter without a shred of doubt. Junior, is Navarrete in that weight division? Ooh, Navarrete, listen, my brother. Navarrete just had the last fight, the last decision that he had, the victory, it was overturned into a no contest. Now that you mention Navarrete, Navarrete fights, I think he's at 130. If I'm not mistaken, Navarrete fights at 130. Right? I think he had just moved up to 130. And it's interesting what happened with Navarrete because if y'all remember with Tank Davis, he took a knee. The referee made a mistake. The decision wasn't overturned, right? So it stayed the draw. With Navarrete, the decision made a mistake about an accidental haircut that wasn't accidental, and they overturned the decision because they decided that it was a mistake. They should have overturned the decision for Tank Davis and Lamar Roach too because it was a mistake. And they didn't. But with Navarrete and his opponent, they did the right thing. And we're going to see a rematch. Dry Turkey, not your core card. I meant Keyshawn. Okay. I feel you, brother. John Parham. Pierre, it will go the distance, but Keyshawn probably 9-3. 5-line Leon, what's up, my people? What's the deal, my G? It's been a while. I just got out. I ain't never going back. Golly, my brother, don't go back. I don't want you to. Dry Turkey, Abdullah's going to beat Nakathia better than Shakur this weekend. We're going to see. We're going to see how that fight plays out. I think it'll be an interesting fight. Dry Turkey, 130. John Parham, Dry Turkey, only because he has more power. John Parham, yeah, Navarrete, 130. Dry Turkey, Nav lost to Berichick at 135. I mean, Navarrete, he's not undefeated. But we gotta give it to him, man. He's a guy that got a lot of heart, that's there to fight, that is always gonna make it interesting. So, he's a heck of a fighter. John Turkey. John Parham, do you remember Shakur was called a runner versus Nakathila? I still remember that fight. Nakathila's the guy from Africa. I still remember that fight. I think that Shakur, that fight, he was very cautious. Because, Nakathila got power. He got pop. And I remember Shakur outboxed him easily. I think he pitched, if I'm not mistaken, he even pitched a shutout. He didn't lose a single round in that fight. But he was very cautious of Nakathila's power. Pierre Oliver. Who do you got if Boots go up at 154 and face Bakram? Listen, Bakram is a dark horse in the division. Very dangerous fighter. Based on the way that he beat Tim Tszyu, like he gave Tim Tszyu a brutal ass whooping. And for that to happen, you can already see how good Bakram is. He's a pressure fighter, power, both hands, lets them fly. I think Bakram could give Boots problems, but Boots is, has the better ring IQ, the better footwork, is faster. So we have to see how that fight plays out. The one thing is that Bakram is a big dude. He's a big guy. So, Boots is not going to bully him around or push him around. That's a tough fight. I would like to see, if Boots move up, I would like to see him dance with Bakram. That's a good fight. I still want to see what's next for Jermall Boots Ennis. After he turned down Teofimo Lopez, I was disappointed. Real talk, my peoples. I was really disappointed because, that's the magic question people ask about Boots. Oh, who he beat? Who he beat? Tell me who he beat. So, I was hoping that Jermall Boots Ennis was finally going to get a big name in his resume in Teofimo Lopez. And for whatever reason, he declined that offer. Shaggy, my G, happy Monday. What's the deal, Shaggy? Appreciate you dropping in. You know how we doing it, my brother. We talking boxing. Let me know what you think about the whole situation with Jermall Charlo winning, Caleb Plant losing. Are they still going to fight each other? Should they go in different directions? How does this play out? What's going to happen? And my peoples, this upcoming Saturday, Keyshawn Davis, Edwin De Los Santos, that's a very interesting fight. I like Edwin De Los Santos, my Dominican brother, but I got Keyshawn Davis winning that fight. Simple as that. In boxing, there's levels. So, as good as Edwin De Los Santos is, which he is, fast hands, power, footwork, good movement in the ring, good fighter. But Keyshawn Davis is levels above him. And we're going to see that. We're going to see it on Saturday. You already know, my peoples, I'm going to be doing commentary for that fight, of course. I shouldn't even have to tell you anymore. From here on out, guys, if there's some good fights, I'm doing commentary. We don't even have to talk about that. Shaggy, they should still fight each other. I feel it's a good fight. Then open up for another option. I believe so too. There's going to be a lot of interest. You know that Caleb and Maul, they don't like each other. They've had, personal situations that are very well documented. Whether it's personal or going back and forth on social media, we've seen it. These guys don't like each other. And when fighters like that get to fight each other, what type of action you're going to get. It's going to be fireworks. 5'9" Leon, I want to see Gary Russell come up and fight Ennis. And you're talking about Gary Antoine Russell, right? If I'm not mistaken, Gary Antoine Russell beat Boots in the amateurs. I don't know if it was in the National, Golden Gloves, or what it was, but he beat him. Gary Antoine Russell beat Boots Jr. Is Spence Jr. really fighting Thurman? So that hasn't been confirmed. I've seen rumors about how supposedly Errol Spence and Keith Thurman or their people are working it out so they could fight each other. But there's no official information about that. Nobody from either team has confirmed it. So I guess right now we don't know. That would be a good fight. I will say Keith Thurman already had his tune-up and he looked real good. Remember, he fought this guy in Australia and stopped him early and brutally. So Keith Thurman, just like Jermall Charlo, came back and there was no ring rust whatsoever. Should Errol Spence come right back and go straight to Keith Thurman, or should he also get a tune-up? Just like Thurman, just like Charlo, just like other fighters who've been inactive for a while. I believe, Errol should come back for a tune-up. And I know he's always spoken out against doing tune-ups. He specifically said, nah, I don't do tune-ups. But, bro, you're in your mid-30s. Errol's like, I think, 35 years old already. Been inactive for 2 years since he got beat up by Bud. So I think he should do a tune-up. John Parham, you're anything about 600 from Cali fighting Shannon Briggs? To be honest, no, my brother. No information. I didn't even know Shannon Briggs was trying to get back in the ring. Pierre Oliver, do you think Itama beat Bakoli right now? Ooh. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure if he beats Bakoli right now because that's a huge step up in competition. We know Bakoli's a very dangerous fighter. I tell you what, if I was Frank Warren, I wouldn't put Itama versus Bakoli right now. I wouldn't do that. I would give him at least 2 more fights, 2 or 3 more fights. And look, Frank Warren said the other day that they could have pursued a title shot for Itama. And they decided to, pursue the process of development. So I like that. That's a good idea. So I would say, at least 2 more fights before getting them in there with Bakoli. 5'9" Leon. Oh, did he whoa? I didn't know that the Russell family is trained to go. Gary Antoine Russell put hands on Boots in the amateurs. Put hands on him. As a matter of fact, the fight is on YouTube. You can look it up on YouTube. Just like that. Gary Antoine Russell versus Jerome Boots Ennis in the amateur. You'll be able to see it. Gio, what's up, Jay? What's the deal, my brother? Appreciate you dropping in. I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Family's good. And we talking boxing, so we loving it out here. Look, man, I gotta tell you, my peoples, we digress from the original subject here, or the main talking point. When it comes to Jermall Charlo, I want to see already what's next for him and how he's gonna look versus a top-level performer. Because, he did what he was supposed to do. Maul did what he was supposed to do. We still should be impressed by the fact that he's been out of boxing since 2023, came back and went straight to work and looked real sharp. We should be, happy about that. But let's see how he's going to look when he's facing top-level opposition. JJ's in the house. Hello, Jay Smith. I'm here. Let's go. Hit the like button, everyone. Hell yeah, my brother. Appreciate it. Y'all heard my brother JJ's in there, has my peoples. Hit that like button. Gay Rivera. Dímelo, mi hermano. ¿Qué es lo que es, hermanito mío? Tú sabes. Activo, talking boxing, bro. I want to see what's next for Jermall Charlo. Look, there's some fighters right now who don't have an opponent lined up, and I want to see. That's Jermall Charlo. He just finished, but I want to see, is he going to go for a title shot real soon? Jerome Boots Ennis, is he going to be able to get the fight with Brian Norman Jr.? I need to see that. Teofimo Lopez. Obviously, he was trying to get the fight with Boots. That was declined. Trying to get the fight with Devin Haney, but he kind of now has some friction with His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh, and so let's see what's next for Teofimo as well. Junior, Charlo versus Eubank, but I know that will never happen. Or Benavidez versus Charlo. I mean, Charlo versus Eubank Jr. Honestly, I would like to see that fight. I would like to see that fight. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. You know, one guy on Matchroom, one guy on PBC. That's the only thing that we've always seen with PBC fighters, that is really hard to get the champions that are in PBC to face guys that are, you know, with the other promotional companies. I would like to see those fights, though. Charlo versus Eubank Jr. is a great fight. Charlo versus Benavidez is a great fight. We're not going to see Charlo versus Benavidez, though, because I think that he's going to stay at 168, and Benavidez will never go back down to that division. So I don't think we'll see that. Gabe Rivera, Plant fumbled the bag, and the fact he allergic to Mexican style. Yo, Caleb Plant, man. I mean, let's see, because Mo Charlo said that he's still interested in fighting Plant. We might still get that fight. Gio, Teofimo versus winner of Pacquiao Barrios. That would be a heck of a fight. I'm going to tell you like this, though. If Manny Pacquiao wins that fight, everybody is going to want in on the Manny Pacquiao sweepstake. Everybody's going to be calling out Pacquiao. We're talking about boxing. Everybody, my people, come sit with me, but you have to stay quiet so I can tell them about the boxing. Don't drop it in the floor. Everybody, my peoples, I promise you, if Manny Pacquiao is able to win that fight and, shake up the world, Boots is going to be calling for Pacquiao because he wants to become undisputed. Okay. Eat your cheese sandwich. So everybody's going to want to fight Pac-Man. Boots going to want to fight him. Conor Benn is going to call him out. Rollies is already saying that he wants to fight Pac-Man. Ryan Garcia is going to call him out. Everybody's going to want to fight him. So we don't even know who's going to get the opportunity at Manny Pacquiao if he wins. And I've been saying, my peoples, if Manny Pacquiao wins, but he wins in a brutal slugfest where he gets hurt and he edges out a victory, I think that he won't fight after that. He'll just, win his title, make history, and retire once again. But if he wins convincingly, then I could see Manny Pacquiao, deciding that now he wants to defend his title as well. So somebody else besides Mario Barrios may actually get an opportunity at Manny Pacquiao. Anda a ver con mami, Liro, para yo terminar el trabajo. Anda a ver. But you're going to see a lot of people trying to get that action with Manny Pacquiao. I pretty much guarantee you that. JJ's in the house. Hey, little buddy. Learn early and more than all of us. Yo, he learning. Trust me, he on it. He's on it. I'm waiting for him to grow a little bit more so he could start doing some of the lives with me, because he want to be with me when I'm on live. And when I'm watching the fights, he want to watch them. So you never know, man. Before you know it, Ryan is going to be the next face of Box Center. Junior, bendiciones, my brother. Your son will be a champion. Bendiciones, hermanito mío. Appreciate that. Viz, Charlo fought a bum. So, listen, he obviously didn't fight a top-level opponent, but you got to understand, my brother, it's 2 years of inactivity. Since 2023, he had not been in the ring. So when you take that into consideration, he still looked impressive. You didn't see ring rust. You saw somebody who looked sharp. You saw the hand speed. You saw the footwork, the counter punching, the combination punching, the punch placement. Charlo looked good out there, my brother. Instead of focusing on the skills of his opponent, try to notice how he looked himself. Looked good out there. Hash Bass, Pac-Man needs money for the Philippine people. I don't know where you got that from, brother. I haven't seen that anywhere. So I don't know if you made it up just now or what, but Pac-Man is trying to make history. Five Line Leon. They don't understand it's not about your resume when it comes to boxing. Gotta stay active. You gotta stay active. Especially when you get to a certain age. You know, if you're in your 30s and your early 30s, inactivity affects you a lot. Once you made it to your 30s, you cannot afford to stay inactive. Five Line Leon, resume only gets you paid. Facts. Hash Bass, made it up. Stop making stuff up, man. Gio, Pacquiao is a living legend. Look, man, when it was announced that he was going to fight Keith Thurman, I told people, look, Manny Pacquiao is going to get beat up. Keith Thurman is probably going to be the first person to just put a brutal beating on him and stop him. Because Manny Pacquiao been stopped before. But the times that he been stopped, he was competitive. He was putting hands on his opponent and ate a big shot like he did with Marquez and lost. But he was competitive. I thought Keith Thurman was going to dominate him. And we saw what happened. That's why when a legend and all-time great says, I'm coming back, you don't just write him off. I'm not sitting here right now telling you that Manny Pacquiao is going to win, but I am telling you that I'm not writing him off. I made that mistake with Pacman and Thurman. I'm not making that mistake again. JJ's in the house. Charlos took care of business, so nobody can talk crap, even though he fought a C-plus fighter, no disrespect. Yeah, I was just saying, you know, at the end of the day, look, Jermall Charlo did what he was supposed to do. That's a tune-up fight. You're supposed to do that. But the fact that he had been inactive since 2023 and looked that good, that's impressive. That's impressive. You got to be impressed with that. Gabe Rivera, I give Pac-Man a shot. You just hope he don't get hurt, because boxing is a brutal sport. I agree with you on that, my brother. And look, if it was up to me, Manny Pacquiao would retire, never fight again. But I also respect him as a fighter enough to say, look, if he wants to fight, if he feels like he can win, his team feels like it, go for it. Because that's what greatness is about. That's what making history is about. That's what doing what's never been done all about. So there's world champions who did it in their 40s. George Foreman, Bernard Hopkins, there's a few others. Manny Pacquiao wants to join that list. He already is the oldest welterweight champion in history. He's trying to add to that legacy, my peoples. You got to give him credit. Hash Bass, I'm writing Pac-Man off. He's 47 years old. All right, my brother, go ahead, write him off, and let's see how it plays out. He is going to be the underdog. He's the guy who's supposed to lose. But this is not the first time that he's supposed to lose. The last time, you know, there was a couple times that he was supposed to lose, and he won. So, John Parham, I'm not writing Pac-Man off. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm not willing to, not anymore. Who's going to be in Manny's corner? Freddie? I'm assuming it's going to be Freddie Roach, but honestly, I'm not sure. But I think it's going to be Freddie. John Parham, he said he feels he got 2 more fights in him. I mean, I think it's going to depend how this fight plays out with Barrios. You know, if he gets pummeled, if he gets beat up out there, I don't think he fights again. And even if he wins, but by a very close margin, like a brutal fight, and he barely edges that out, I also don't think he fights again if that's how it plays out. Now, if he dominates Barrio or beats him, you know, by a wide margin, then I could see him trying to defend the title. JJ's in the house. Pac-Man might need some money, not because he broke, but he's building tiny homes in Philippines. Very cool guy. Whoa. Manny Pacquiao has always been someone who tries to do, you know, positive things for the people of the Philippines, for his countrymen. Gabe Rivera, so that the door opens the door, that opens the door for Mayweather versus Pac-Man 2. I was saying that the other day. I thought it was an interesting coincidence that Manny Pacquiao He's gonna come back for a title shot, and Floyd Mayweather had been playing with the idea of coming back versus George Kambosos. So let's see. We might actually get Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao too. That can actually happen. Hash Bash, Charlo looked good and strong and showed us where his level is. Yeah. Charlo, he showed us he is still amongst the elite. Still one of those high level fighters. Look real good, man. I'm ready to see him, get a title shot. The way that he looked, I'm ready to see him fight one of the top dogs. 5'9" Leon. Now he said he's now writing him off. Nah. I mean, I'm saying I'm definitely not writing off Pac-Man, bro. Hash, I finally agree with you, bro. Gio, I would love a Pac versus Floyd too. That can actually happen. I truly believe the fact that Kambosos came out and said that he was approached about a fight with Floyd Mayweather. That tells me that Floyd Mayweather saw Manny Pacquiao about to come back, and now he's toying with the idea of coming back. I can only see, if they both fight, it's leading to a collision course between them. Five-Line Leon, if Floyd doesn't ask for too much money. I mean, Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao is going to make a lot of money. I think they'll both make a lot of money. I don't think it'll make as much as the first one, but I still think it still makes a lot of money. Five-Line Leon. Know that John Parham actually said he's not writing Manny Pacquiao off. I think he's saying same as you about Manny. Yeah. I think most of us agree on that. Manny Pacquiao, we understand he's going to be the underdog, as he should be at his age. But to just write him off and, he's going to get washed. I had somebody tell me the other day that Barrios was probably going to knock him out by the 5th round. Nah, man, nah. I'm not ready to go there. Manny Pacquiao, all-time great, a legend, great fighter. And you just never know. Let's see. Maybe Father Time is going to defeat him. Maybe this is it right here. But I'm not ready to write him off. My peoples, I'm about to end this live. But before I do, I want to remind y'all, today I already posted my video doing commentary for the Jermall Charlo fight. You got to see that. Check out the commentary, my peoples. Y'all know I give y'all a different brand of boxing. Some more videos coming up soon. And you already know, I post new videos every day. I hope that you guys enjoy those. Don't forget to hit the like button, my peoples. Don't forget to subscribe. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Center. This is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. Let me read one more message before I get the hell out of here. Give out my shout-outs, of course. JJ Sendejas, Manny Help, his sparring partner, David Rodell, purchased his first home, wrote him a check of $15,000. Yo, Manny Pacquiao, man, great guy. He's done a lot of great things for a lot of fighters and a lot of people. So, yo, before I get out of here, I want to give a shout-out. John Parham, JJ Sendejas, Five-Line Leon, Hash Bash, and GOS, and everybody else who came through. Y'all already know what it is, my peoples. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. We're going to be doing what we do, man. Talking boxing. Salute. Bam. Peace. One love, my peoples. I got to go eat.